Well, hold on, brother. I'm talking.
What is up, guys? Welcome to the channel. These are my picks for the upcoming pay-per-view. Poirier Holloway 3, Poirier's retirement fight. I don't think it will be. I think you'll have one more two after this, but it'll be kind of embarrassing if he doesn't retire because he's called it the last dance. He's selling t-shirts. Kind of be semi-fraud at that point, but I like Poirier. I think he's a good fighter. Some of the things he's done, like being the top 10 for over 10 years and stuff like that, is great, but I think he's overrated. I mean, I don't know what it is about Poirier. I like him and I like him a lot, but he just seems to have gained this cult status over the last 2-3 years, and I'll probably get hate for this, but I don't really like Poirier like that. And everyone seems to love him and overrate him, and they talk like his boxing's the best thing ever, and he's a good fighter. He's a really good fighter, but like I always said after the Gaethje fight, I'm like, if Gaethje fights semi-sensible, he'll beat him and probably knock him out, and that's what happened. Yeah, man. I think Eddie could have beaten him if he'd fought a bit smart as well, but Eddie just doesn't fight like that. Anyway, let's get on with the picks. Here we go. Is the fight card, the fight poster. Looks pretty good. Let's all pray we have a good main event and Holloway's chin hasn't suddenly been cracked, because that is my biggest worry. When guys have a rock-solid chin like Holloway, there seems to be a thing with guys with the best chins you've ever seen. When that chin goes and it gets cracked in a big way and it's never the same again. So let's start. I am not even going to acknowledge that. Bruno Ferreira versus Jason McVeigh. I'm going with Bruno Ferreira by KO. I haven't seen McVeigh fight. He hasn't fought in UFC yet, I don't think. No, he hasn't. 4-0 in LFA, though. That's not bad considering he only had 2 fights before he got there. Lucas Bradsky is, I think I was looking at his record earlier, he's like 1-5 in UFC. How on earth this guy is still in UFC is unbelievable. But that just goes to show just how bad the UFC heavyweight is. And people are getting hyped about Walter Walker. His only win is over Walter Walker. And yes, UFC jitters, but against a guy who's getting spacked by Mick Packin in the first round. I really don't rate Mick Packin. He's a decent, solid little fighter, but he's not a good fighter. Like, do you know what I mean? He's really not. Ryan Spann absolutely sucks. One of Anthony Smith's best wins. Man, I really couldn't tell you who wins this fight. They both suck. I think this fight's gonna probably suck, but I think someone probably will get finished. I mean, it is really a toss-up. I'm gonna go with Spann purely on the experience. So I'm gonna go with Spann by second round, ground and pound. Jimmy Crute versus Martin Prachnio. 2 more fighters who suck. These fights suck at the start. Prachnio showed a little bit of heart in his last few fights, so Crute is a lot fresher. Man, this is probably going to be a fun fight. I'm not going to lie. I shouldn't be hating on this fight, actually. I'm being a bit of a Debbie Downer. This fight will be good. I'm going to take... Someone's telling me Crute's going to KO him, but I'm going to go with Prachnio by... I think I'm wrong, but I'm going to take Prachnio by decision. This fight is probably not going to go to decision, but give me Prachnio by decision. I think it'll be a good fun fight, though. This will be a fun fight to watch. Fugit versus Dulatov. Fugit, I don't care. Nah, man. Don't know much about this Dulatov. He's coming off the Contender Series. I don't watch Contender Series anymore because there's just so much UFC to watch, and the fights are so low level. Some of these, like the fights we've seen at the start of this card, it's like you just haven't got time now. I'm older to watch it all. I'm gonna go with Fugit on the experience, but I'm not confident. What's Fugit saying in his last few fights? Not bad at all, I guess. Give me Fugit by decision because I'm not confident in how that fight goes, and I've never seen Islam Dulatov fight. Actually, no, screw it. Give me Dulatov. Give me Dulatov by decision. Atiba Gautier versus Robert Valentin. They stitched this guy up with Terrence McKinney. Not Terrence McKinney, sorry. That guy. Torres Finney, sorry. Terrence McKinney, Torres Finney. Torres Finney. Who should literally... I think Trump needs to put him behind bars, literally, for that fight. That was robbery of the fans. Like, he needs to be punished, not just cut from the organization. He needs to be lashed and punished for that performance. That was disgraceful, absolutely disgraceful. He needs to take a beating for that fight. He should be fighting Atiba Gautier. Gautier should be fighting Torres Finney. Torres Finney should be fighting this knockout machine and getting his ass whipped, but instead Robert Valentin's in there against him. Torres Finney needs to be given the worst matchup possible until he just gets beaten out of the UFC brutally. I want to see him stretch it out. Atiba Gautier, unfortunately, I think gets the win. This will be a fun fight with us on the feet. I don't think Valentin will be scared. I think he'll be there to bang for as long as it lasts. And we've seen these fighters like this before. They're, sculpted out of stone. They're knocking everyone out, and as soon as someone stands up to them, they fold. So I'm not completely confident about this guy. If Valentin can withstand the punches and land back, let's see what Gautier is made of. Because he's got a French name. Is he French by name or is he French by nature? We will find out. But I'll have to go with Gautier at this point. But wouldn't surprise me if he folds and gets sparked because someone gives him a bit of resistance. Like, I'm pretty sure he smoked all his opponents quite quickly. So we started off with 2 decisions, and he was like round 1, round 1, round 1, round 1, round 2, round 1. Yeah, we see it. So he has gone a decision twice, and other than that, it's all been round 1s, and they were his first 2 fights. So we'll see. He's a heavy underdog, but we will see it. I'm interested in this fight. I would like to see Valentin take his punches and show a bit of resistance and see what he's got. Prado versus Varatnikov. This guy is number 500 in the world. Like, this is literally box rec stuff. He got sparked out by Danny Barlow, and oh no, it's the guy that was pushing Austin Vandervoort after the fight. How is he even still in UFC? You put hands on a fighter after the thing, even a push. You're usually out of UFC, but that's how desperate they are, because they need to just keep the card full. You can now do a Paul Daly versus Koscheck, and you'll probably still get kept in the UFC because you can go 1-5 in the heavyweight division and be a nobody. It isn't like BJ Penn losing 5 in a row or being 1-5 in his 6 fight span. This is a nobody in heavyweight who's there. So on about this guy. I'm gonna take Prado by KO. Should be a fun fight. This guy's got a bit of spunk, a bit of chutzpah, a bit of moxie, obviously. Vettori versus Brendan Allen. If one single person says Marvin Vettori, he's a big guy, he hits hard. I hear Bisping and people say it all the time because he got power or he hits hard or he can crack. No, he fucking cannot. He has been in the UFC for over a decade, I think, and he's got 2 finishes and they're both submissions. He has literally never knocked a person out in the UFC. I don't even know if he's knocked anyone down. I think he knocked down Cannonier. He actually had a chance to get his first knockout and he fucked that up and ended up getting his ass whipped and taking an absolute CTE fest of a beating. I do not want to hear one fucking person saying that Marvin Vettori hits hard. He does not hit hard at all. He has an incredible chin, which he needs to have, because if you're hitting that soft and you're always in there to the end, you need a damn good chin. But my God, it pissed me off when people say this guy hits hard. Brendan Allen smokes him. Simple as that. He smokes him. It's either another CTE fest, or he finally does get finished and that chin gets cracked, which wouldn't surprise me. So Vettori got to be mid-30s by now. Holy smokes, he must have been in the UFC from a young age. Bloody hell. Right, yeah, it's going to be a CTE fest. The fights get pretty decent, though, from this one on. This is a decent fight. It's going to be a nice punch bag for Brendan Allen to tee off on. Vinicius Oliveira versus Kyler Phillips. This is a good fight. Kyler Phillips, he's been away for a while, I feel like. When was his last fight? So not too long ago. Oh, that was the fight where we thought he was going to be just going in there and it was going to be a showcase for him against Rob Font. And Rob Font showed up in that fight and showed out. Fair play to Rob Font. Bravo. This is going to be an interesting fight, a good, fun fight. We're going to see where Phillips is and where Vinicius is going. This is going to be a good fight. This is a really tough fight to pick. Before seeing the fight, I would say if they fought 10 times, they'd win 5 each. But I got a feeling when this fight's over, we're going to be like, oh no, this guy's way better than the other guy. But I have no idea. This is the kind of fights I like, where you just have no idea. Most of the time you have no idea, and because you're confident, and then after the fight you realize you actually had no idea. But I just really do have no idea. Even beforehand, sort of thing. Man. Give me Kyler Phillips. Give me Kyler Phillips with a bounce back win. Vinicius has a bit more experience, but Kyler has more UFC experience. Daniel Zellhuber coming off an absolute war against what's his name? God, Just Rebavix, one of my new favorite upcoming fighter, Rebavix too. Like when I'm recording these videos, all the names go out of my head. It's fucking really irritating. Michael Johnson, one of my favorite fighters and one of the best fighters you will ever see with a record like this. Find me another fighter in UFC with a record like this. He's 15-15 in UFC. Find me a guy who's 500 in UFC, who's had 30 fights, who's this goddamn good. Jeremy Stevens ain't 500, he's losing record. Do you know what I mean? Michael Johnson is the man. Just remember, he's the one person, he had Khabib in more peril than anyone in history. He had Khabib wobbled on the feet slightly, which seems like a thing to laugh and joke about, but look at Khabib's career. Gage didn't have him peril with one more leg kick. BC's talking shit, Brian Campbell. Michael Johnson genuinely had Khabib in trouble. And don't forget, he knocked Dustin Poirier out spark cold. Remember? And he started doing this. I mean, nobody's ever done that to Poirier like that. Even when McGregor, prime McGregor knocked him out, Poirier was still like looking like that, like, oh, God damn it, I got. Michael Johnson put him to sleep, and he was out for like minutes, like asleep. The worst loss of Poirier's career, the worst knockout he's ever suffered was to Michael Johnson. Do you know what I mean? I mean, Korean Zombie made his ass cry after tapping him out, but Michael Johnson put him to bed and tucked him in with some Nitol. Woo! That was brutal. I'm going with my man MJ all day with a KO. I'm probably going to be wrong because Zaluba is obviously young, up and coming off a war against Rebavix where he looked really good. I'm pretty sure, it's hard to remember because that fight was so insane I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I felt like Zaluba was Zaluba was almost on the brink of getting knocked out for most of that fight. I can't remember now, but there was a back and forth war, but one of them just looked like he was going to get knocked out so many times that I think it might have been Zaluba. But I'm picking Johnson, going my heart over my head. Not that I'm super confident that Zellhuber's going to win, but if a gun to my head, I'd probably pick Zellhuber. But I'm going with Johnson for the KO. Dan Ige versus Patricio Pitbull. Now, this is a better fight for Pitbull to win, but at the same time, the matchmakers are sneaky here because this is a sneaky tough fight. Oof. Man, I think Pitbull's just come to that end of the road. I think he's had too many fights. I mean, he never got knocked out his entire career, and then 2 fights ago, we got knocked out in Rising with a straight right, and he went face down and got woke back up with another punch. He got knocked out. He got laid out. And I'd seen him get really, really hurt. Oh, the guys, these names are... Daniel... Weichel, that's it. I don't need to look him out. Daniel Weichel. Daniel Weichel's one of the best fighters in this division who's never fought in UFC, and it might have been a featherweight. It could have been a lightweight. I think it was featherweight. Yeah, it was featherweight for the title. Daniel Weichel, maybe in both fights, but in the one fight, he had him on the brink of being knocked out, and Pitbull just threw a haymaker. Weichel got careless and got knocked out. But other than that time in being rocked, Pitbull's always had a pretty sturdy chin. But 2 fights ago, he got knocked out bad. And Dan Ige can hit hard. I really hope Patricio can win this fight because I really like Pitbull, and I hate seeing these guys come in and UFC just shit on other promotions by their little snidey ways. But I think Dan Ige takes it by decision. But I really, because I don't see Ige getting knocked out, but I really hope Pitbull can pull this out. I mean, I just think he's just turning up for a paycheck. He's probably getting 300, 400, 500 grand a pop. Just straight show, just straight money. He's probably on a Eddie Alvarez contract where it's just a straight payday, win or lose. So he's probably not that motivated. He probably doesn't see himself getting to the title level. I mean, maybe he does, but he probably doesn't. So give me Ige by decision. But realistically, I really would love to see Pitbull get a KO and show people what these Bellator fighters can do. Because he's a really good fighter. And he's fought. Let's quickly look at his record. I mean, he had some... You might not know these fighters, but... Trust me, Diego Nunes, great fighter. Pat Curran, like a 3-time, I think it was like a 3-time Bellator champion. Ridiculous resume in Bellator. Daniel Strauss, tricky fighter. Beast Daniel Strauss, great wrestler. Daniel Weichel, really tricky fighter. Daniel Strauss, he lost to Daniel Strauss. Henry Corrales, good fighter. Benson Anderson, leg injury. Daniel Strauss, the trilogy, won that, so he's 2-1. Daniel Weichel again. Emmanuel Sanchez, tricky fighter. Chandler, we know about him. Chandler was much better in Bellator. Don't get it twisted. If you haven't seen him in Bellator, go watch Eddie Alvarez versus Chandler 1. That is one of the best fights I've ever seen in my life. I remember that fight back in the day. I could not believe what I was watching. And that was a crazy weekend of fights in UFC as well. I think it was the Shogun Henderson weekend, the Shogun Henderson 102. Juan Archuleta, all right, Pedro Carvalho, whatever. Emmanuel Sanchez again. Lost to AJ McKee, got quickly rocked and choked, and then came back and won a nice decision. Adam Boric, really good fighter. Jeremy Kennedy, whatever. But, you know, he's fought some really good fighters. He's a really good fighter. So, Danny by decision, but my heart's a Pitbull. Holland versus Rodriguez. I don't know why they're so high on the card. I mean, these guys don't deserve to be this high on the card. Holland, maybe, but Rodriguez, no, he's fallen off a bit. I think Holland's going to be way too much for him. I think Holland submits him. I think Holland probably could knock him out, but I think Holland's going to submit him. I think for some reason, I don't know why, I think Holland's going to tee him off on the feet. He's going to be too long, too fast, hit too hard. Dino Rodriguez was good when he came in. He seemed like he was going to be a real top 10, top 15 kind of mainstay, and he just fell off hard. So yeah, man, give me Holland by submission. Even though I think he's going to do him up with the feet, and I think Rodriguez is going to shoot a sloppy takedown, and that's where the submission in my mind is coming from when I play the fight out in my head. So give me Holland by submission. Now, this co-main event sucks. Paulo Costa has never had an elite win. Let's look at his record. He has never beat a good fighter. His record absolutely sucks. He's had hardly any fights. Look at this guy's record. Look at this. I've looked at it so many times, and it is bare. Former winner of a UFC champion, Johnny Hendricks. That version of Johnny Hendricks was the most fallen off fighter in history. He fell off worse than Tyron Woodley. You have never seen a fighter fall off so quick. He fell off quicker than his hairline receded. I mean, I've never seen a champion who was so good at the time, and when he became champion was so good, and then fall off and become nothing overnight. The guy's a police officer now in Texas, by the way. Gareth McLennan absolutely sucked. I don't think he ever won a fight in UFC. South African guy. Oluwale Bamboshe, he was also a terrible fighter. That version of Johnny Hendricks isn't worth squat. Uriah Hall, he's always been up and down. That's literally his best win. The Yoel Romero fight, that was back and forth. Could have been anyone's fight, and Yoel Romero was like 100, and you know he just dined out on his chin there, Costa. But I think Yoel Romero might have deserved to win that fight. I go back and forth on it, but it was a good fight. But that was the only good performance he's ever put in. Threw him in with Adesanya because he thought, oh, he fought Romero like that. He'll fight Izzy. Give Izzy a tough fight. Make Izzy fight for real. And then he got ground and pounded doggy style. KO'd and ground and pounded doggy style by Izzy's cup, and that was it. Then he lost to Vettori, and then since then he's had one win. It was against the shadow of the ghost of the shell of Luke Rockhold, who at the end of that fight was beating his ass and snotting blood in his face, just damaging him. Like if they just let the fight continue from there, schoolyard rules, Rockhold would have finished him and beaten him senseless. Because when Rockhold gets on top of you like that and you're tired, I don't care if Rockhold's 60 years old, you're in goddamn trouble. I mean, he destroyed Chris Weidman and Chris Weidman's career from that ill-advised, stupid spin kick or whatever it was that Weidman did. And he got on top of Weidman. And even someone who knows nothing about MMA could have watched that and been like, man, that's like a house on top of him, like a block of flats. Weidman was just glued to the floor. Anyway, that's the only win he's had since. He's had one win in 5 years. He got his cherry popped by Izzy in 2020. And in 5 years, literally in a couple of months, it's going to have been 5 years, and he's had 4 fights and 1 win in 5 years. That is just pathetic. And I actually like Costa as a person. He's funny, the secret juice, all this sort of stuff. But my God, his record is just shit. Luke Rockhold, so then he ducked Hamzat, we know that. Lost to Robert Whittaker, lost to Sean Strickland. I mean, the guy's record is ridiculously bad. He's had 10 fights in UFC. Man, I'm taking Kopylov by decision because Costa's got a hell of a chin. I mean, it could be time. No, you haven't had enough fights of damage. I'm taking Kopylov by decision, but Costa is. I mean, how he was still ranked in the top 10 for so long. He's 15 now, and he shouldn't even be 15. I mean, how is he 15? I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't want to waste any more time on that fight. It is what it is. Costa sucks. No offense to the guy. Kopylov's decent. Kopylov is a good fighter, but he's lost to someone who was not very good, hasn't he? No, Fluffy is good. Albert Duraev, all right, fair enough. No, I think when he lost to Fluffy Hernandez, I didn't quite realize how good Fluffy was, even though he was obviously good at that time. copied off by decision. Poirier versus Holloway. There's nothing to say about this fight. We know what we're going to get. I think Max will have the punch power to stay with him a bit more, but I think it's going to be like the second fight they had, the first fight, lightweight, the second time they fought, and I think Poirier's going to have a little bit too much. I think it's going to be a war. I think Poirier's just going to have that little bit more pop in his punches. Maybe Poirier won't have it that much because it's his last fight, but I don't think Poirier's the type of guy to be like, oh, it's my last fight. You know, whatever, curl up. Poirier's not that kind of guy. And I know what I said at the start of this video, but Poirier, if one thing, he is a true fighter and a warrior. He is a fighter's fighter. This is going to be a war. This is going to be a great fight. I can't wait to see it. Everything's telling me Holloway should win this fight. Because I don't care about the Poirier thing. Just forget about that. If anyone can recover, it's Holloway. Even at this age, even what I said about chins cracking, getting cracked, good chins getting cracked. Holloway should win this fight. What are the odds? I'm back. Fire alarm sorted. Nearly had a heart attack. My house isn't burning down. Everything's all good. Back to this. I can't remember where I was, but basically I was going back and forth. I think I'd pick Dustin. I'm changing my mind again since I turned the fire alarm off. I'm going with Max Holloway by decision, but I know this is going to be a war. May the best man win. I genuinely mean that. Two of the greatest fighters we've seen in the last 5-10 years. Absolute warriors. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. It really is going to be interesting. I mean, Dustin's 2-0, and he's got a submission victory over Max. So Max really needs to win this fight, or he's going to be 0-3 against Dustin, which he doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to be that way. But it's tough. He's coming off. I wish he wasn't coming off that Poirier fight. I wish he just hadn't fought Poirier, had stayed a lightweight, and we were having this fight. I think it would be a lot more. It'd be a lot more fun to look forward to, so we wouldn't be worried about is Max's chin being cracked. Do you know what I mean? Has that coconut been cracked? That Hawaiian coconut that was tough as nails before. But man, this is going to be a war. Dustin's going to go out on his shield if he has to. He's not going to be like, this is my last fight, I'm going to take a paycheck. He knows this is how he'll be remembered, win or lose. He just knows he needs to put in a shift, which he will. And I just can't wait for this fight. As much as this card sucks, this fight will make up for it all. Let's just pray to God there's not some kind of eye poke or injury or some freak thing that happens that stops the fight, because that would just literally ruin everything. I mean, if something bad happens in this fight and like someone like breaks their leg, Anderson Silva style, Chris Weidman style, or some bullshit like that, do you know what I mean? Yeah, so that's my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, give me a comment, even if it's negative, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.